the underside of the platter. That's what actually drives the platter round, connected to this little motor here.
So this is bedroom DJ style-y?
Absolutely, you wouldn't
club.
find those in a club, no, not at all.
And how much could we expect to pay for something like that?
For two of these with a very basic mixer, around the £200 mark. Moving on from that, you've got something that looks a lot better. It's what we call a direct drive turntable.
Right.
If I was to just, you'll see there's no big rubber band there. The motor's actually connected directly to the platter from the underside of the turntable.
Okay.
Much more accurate. It's got advanced features on it, which means that it will play in reverse. It's got a wider range on the pitch fader, and it's a lot more steady. I don't know if you feel it, it's a lot heavier than the beginner deck.
Yeah, there's a definite difference there.
They'll set you back with a basic mixer again, around £500. Going on from that, you're looking at the professional gear, which is really expensive,
right.
And I can show you some of that now. What you've got here is the industry standard, top of the line professional turntable. It's a Technics 1210. You'll find it in bars and clubs all over the world. It's renowned for its reliability. Moving on from the 1210, you've got the young pretender to its throne, which is a Vestax PDX 2000. It's technically a brilliant turntable.
Yeah.
It's got a short straight tone arm, which means it hardly skips at all ever. It's got a lot more features than the 1210 does, and so far it's proven to be just as reliable. Either of these will cost you about £700 for the pair on their own.
So we've talked about the turntables. What about the mixers?
First thing to remember is it's nowhere near as daunting as you think it is. When you first walk in the shop, you can see 100 different mixers out. Don't panic. Like I said, you've already worked out what you want to spend. There's three main branches to mixers. The very basic 2-channel mixers, which is 2 up faders and a crossfader. Mixers with extra channels built in. So again, they look daunting, but they're not. It's just more channels sort of chucked onto the side. Then you've got the expensive mixers, which are scratch mixers and mixers with built-in effects sections. The main difference between a bottom-of-the-line mixer and a middle-range mixer is the middle-range mixer will be slightly better built and have a 3-band equaliser on it. They go from £55 up to nigh on £2,000. Really depends on the budget that you're working to.
So what's the difference between a scratch mixer and an ordinary mixer?
A scratch mixer, they're all 2-channel mixers. They're designed to take a real pounding, so the faders are a lot tougher and a lot smoother.
Okay.
And there's nothing cluttering up the faceplate area of the mixer, so it allows the DJ to do quick hand movements and without tripping up on anything, if you like.
Okay.
They're also a fair bit more expensive, but that's because of the build quality.
Okay, Leon, cartridges, or in layman's terms, needles. What's the difference between all of these?
There's a whole load of them out there on the market. Much like the mixers, it's not as confusing as you think when you first walk into the shop. You've got the basic sort of starter needle,
right,
which is what you'll get when you buy a package for free with the turntables. You can upgrade from that, and it is worth doing because the more you spend on the needle, the better sound quality and better grip on the record you get from that needle.
Okay.
You've got the Stanton 500 there, which is the industry standard, has been used in nightclubs and bars for years and used by pretty much everyone. And then going up from there, you've got the ultra snazzy Stantons at the back and the Autophons over to one side at around about £150 to £200 a pair. I must say, it's worth asking to upgrade to Stantons or something when you're first buying your setup, because they'll last you a lot longer and it'll make your life a lot easier.
What about this chunky little monkey?
That's aimed at scratch DJs. It's a big ugly looking thing with a great big needle hanging down off the front of it, but it's designed to give a very loud output and to grip onto the record very hard, not let go. Alright, so if you've been doing it for a while, you've got a bit of extra money to spend and you decide, I want to add something extra to what I'm recording, you're going to be looking for an effects unit, which is basically one of these gizmos here. All they do is basically add things like reverb, do pitch shifting, which can add a lot to any recording that a DJ makes. You can also go for a sampler, and they will record snippets of any song, and then you can play them back over your mix as well.
That wasn't so scary after all.
No, it's not. Once you get over your initial fright, it's really quite simple. Most important thing is don't be shy in talking to the staff about what you need, and enjoy it.
Getting good advice from professionals like Guildford Sound and Light is always advisable, but it's often worth checking out the numerous ads in the specialist DJ magazines to get a feel of the range available.
The advantage of a magazine like iDJ is that you can see all the equipment that's on the market. Basically, we do a lot of reviews of all the latest equipment. We list every model on the market in our buyer's guide, and then once you've decided what piece of equipment you want, you've got all the retailers in the market advertising this magazine, so you can find the piece of equipment you want, get the best price on it, you're sorted.
So we've talked a bit about the decks and what they do. What about this piece of equipment and all the flashing lights?
Right, this is the mixer. This is one of thousands available by different manufacturers and of different spec and different quality. This one's pretty much a mid-range one.
Right.
You know, it's not the best you can get, and it's by no means the smallest or the cheapest. Basically, what your mixer does, it's so you can mix deck 1 into deck 2, but you can listen to deck 2 whilst deck 1's playing, and also you can fiddle around with the bass and the treble.
So you can listen to that through the headphones?
Yeah, and then you can go between the two. So if we look at it, basically it's got 3 main channels, this one. First of all, they're switchable from phono to line 1 or line 2, which could be a CD player or a mini disc player, something like that. First of all, at the top we have the gain here, and that's how you can set the levels, also using the lights here, because 0 dB should be the perfect place where you set your levels to.
Here?
Yeah, that's right. Then you've got balance, left and right, and then we've got EQ, high, mid and low, and with these you can add, it says here 16 decibels or minus 16 decibels. And then you follow the channel down. This is for effects that you might use with a separate effects unit. And this is for queuing, so you can select if you want to listen to deck 1, you turn your cue switch on and then you can hear what you're playing there. Then you've got your faders down here at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, for each of the channels. And then your crossfade at the bottom here, which just does program 1 and also program 2. These are isolator switches or frequency cut switches or kill switches, and you've got low, mid and high, bass, middle and treble. If you take them all out, you'll kill everything. But a lot of DJs are using them for making special effects these days.
What I don't understand is why they're 3. You've got 2 decks.
Well, I've only got 2 decks set up here at the minute, but as I said, you can put CDs, mini disc players, maybe even an MP3 player nowadays, or an effects unit, anything like that could be on any channel, and you can switch between them. And also this middle deck here, even though it's not used on the crossfade, you can still put another turntable on that channel.
So what I don't understand, Miles, is if you've got these here, why do you need this crossfader here?
Well, for example, if we've got a tune playing on this deck and we've got another one over there, if you want to go from that one to that one, you'd have to be doing that.
Right.
And what can happen is it can either be too loud when you're mixing. So one of the functions of the crossfader is when you go to the middle, it's like a dip and it takes both decks' volume down slightly.
Right.
And also you can get special effects with a crossfade, which you can't get with 2 faders because you can't either do it quick enough. It's not quite the same action. But crossfaders vary on mixer to mixer. You can get different length ones, and you can get ones which have more of a cut in the middle, depending on what type of mixing you're doing. The best thing to show how a crossfader works is to do a mix and show you.
Okay, let's do it.
So Sarah, we're in the mix at the minute. We're playing deck 2 at the moment. You can see the faders up, set the gain up here.
Right.
And what we're going to do, we're going to go across with the crossfade. And as we go towards the middle, it decreases the volume of that one slightly. And so if you're doing a mixtape, for example, it will take both the levels down so it's not peaking too much and it won't distort when you're recording or on your speakers at home or something.
Right.
And then as we go from deck 2, we go over to deck 1, and it just makes it nice and smooth.